Sorry about that. I seem to be having some technical issues with my mic tonight, so if I'm cutting in or I'm having some issues, unfortunately, that was what the problem was. So hopefully you guys can hear me good. Tonight we have a very special edition of the show. We've got a brand new co-host coming on tonight. His name is Christian, and he is a DJ, and he's going to be on very shortly. I'm going to give him a call, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. Again, I would just like to thank all of our sponsors. We've got the Canadian Blood Services is one of our biggest sponsors, so if you need to find out any more information about them, you can go to blood.ca, or you can call their line directly, which is 1-888-2-DONATE. Get into those clinics, guys. Book yourselves an appointment. If you've never given blood before, look into it. It's not as scary as it seems. It's literally like getting a blood test done, but just they take a little bit more blood. Don't be scared. It's not a big deal. To be honest, I encourage everybody I know to go out and donate if they can. If you can't, then that's one thing. But you know what? I always say encouraging people is just as great as donating yourself. So if you can't donate, it doesn't mean that somebody else may not be able to. So, or may actually be able to. So, with that being said, we've got a big list of topics that I'm going to be covering tonight. Some big events and unfortunate events that have happened over the world over the last few days, starting the new year. There's been quite a few things that have happened, and we're going to touch a little bit on some of those things. To be honest, a lot of the things that I'm hearing on the news and some of these incidents in occurring in the States and happening in public places, stuff has to be put to an end, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hearing about it just breaks my heart. I always think about, what if that was me or my family, or, wrong place, wrong time. Sometimes you think you're going out to have a great day in life, and then all of a sudden, it takes a turn for the worst. And, it wasn't exactly in your day plan, but you kind of have to make do with it and be able to, make the best out of whatever situation presents itself in your life. You never really know what's going to happen, and it just goes to show that you need to be prepared and kind of on guard, no matter where you are or what you're doing. So I'm going to give our brand new host a call here and get him into this live broadcast here and introduce you guys to Christian and get you guys to get to know him. To be honest, he's a great guy, and I think you guys are really, really, really going to like him. I think he's going to be a great fit to this show. So I'm going to give him a call here. Give me 1 second, and I will merge him into this broadcast here. 1 sec, guys. Okay, so we are calling.
Hello, Christian speaking.
Hi there, Christian. It's Sarah J. Crawford. We are on the air live on In the Spotlight. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How about you? Hello, everybody.
Not bad. Just, I was really going over a few things here that's happening on the news and going on all over the world, and it's really just blowing my mind. To be honest, there's a lot of violence going on, and given it's the new year, I'm surprised.
A lot of negativity going on, and with the new year should be positive vibes and
absolutely
positive thoughts, but definitely not going what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, you know what? To be honest, we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get into depth on that a little bit, but first and foremost, I'd like to welcome you to the show as brand new co-host, and we love having you on here. To be honest, this is going to be a nice change for In the Spotlight. Has been mostly a female-hosted show, so it's nice to have a male personality on.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how about you tell the listeners and fans and stuff a little bit about yourself and, where you came from up until this point?
Okay, well, I'm from Toronto. I grew up in the Jane Finch area, which is probably most known in the area for being a bad neighborhood. I was
not always true, but there's been some stories, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's lots of stories I could tell you. I could have multiple shows on just the stories I could tell you guys. Grew up in the area. Was a DJ pretty much all my life. Started off as a young kid, DJing school parties and
nice.
adult entertainment facilities.
Cool.
And then from there, got into the private sector and do weddings and and corporate functions and so forth.
Nice. So you've been kind of active in the DJ world, and that's kind of your niche per se, eh?
Definitely.
Definitely. Well, that's awesome, because you know what? Like I was saying to everyone before the show today, in my little live post there, I'm very happy that you are a comfortable person around, crowds and entertaining people, and you were one person that I was quite happy I didn't have to prep for a show, so that's nice.
Yeah, whether it be one person or 10,000 people, I have no issues in front of the mic.
That's good, because you know what? In the Spotlight is very laid back and uncensored and unscripted, and we kind of just go with the flow, and to be honest, we cover a very wide range of different topics and stuff, so as long as you're able to handle the crazy, then you're going to be a great fit.
Oh, definitely. I'll be adding to the crazy.
There you go. See, exactly. I like it already. That's awesome. So in terms of you and, what do you see yourself kind of being most involved in terms of on the show and stuff like that? We'll be covering all kinds of different topics and stuff, but is there anything personally from your point that, you would like to add into the mix, or, kind of maybe we were talking a little bit about maybe adding a live DJ into the show here maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. We can do like a segment, with a live mix show. People can ask questions regarding, some stuff. If people are planning their wedding, they may have a question regarding what venues, what venues they should be booking first and what booking last, and anything to do with that, I can answer.
That's a great idea.
I can also answer stuff about construction. I'm a licensed plumber.
Oh wow! So you're diverse like me.
Definitely.
And you're all over the field.
A financial advisor, so I have many hats I can take care of. That's
amazing, because you know what, to be honest, variety is what the show has to offer, and we like to keep the topics mixed up and as diverse as we can, so that's great. At least you add some diversity to the show. At least I'm not the only one with several jobs. I always feel like I'm overworked.
Keeping it fresh, always keeping it fresh.
That's good. What's your DJ name that you go by, just for everybody to kind of be aware of?
When I DJ private functions, it's just Christian, and the company's called Magic Moments DJ Entertainment.
Okay.
When I do the club scene, it's DJ Chris Ice.
I like it. Where did that come from, if you don't mind me asking?
Back in the day when I started, I was self-taught. I didn't, no one taught me, or I was under anyone's wing. I self-taught myself.
Cool.
And I didn't come up with a name; someone else did.
Yeah.
They heard me mixing. They go, you know what? Your mixes are smooth as ice.
I love it.
I'm like, okay, Chris Ice it is.
Chris Ice it is. Yeah, that's too funny. That, you know what, you never know where those names are going to come from or where they stick. I think we had this conversation a little bit, but, sometimes the nicknames aren't always ones that you want to follow you, but that one's kind of catchy. I like it.
Yeah, and that's not like I picked it. It was like given to me.
It was given to you. It's not like you came up with it yourself and it was cheesy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely no cheese there.
No cheese. That's too funny. So one of the biggest topics I wanted to touch on tonight was this incident that happened at the Fort Lauderdale airport there in the baggage claiming area. There was unfortunately 5 people killed and 8 people were wounded in that shooting before this guy was apprehended and actually put into custody. Condolences go out to those families who are dealing with either somebody wounded in the hospital right now or unfortunately who may have passed.
Yes, it was definitely a sad incident. One positive note that came out of that, the shooter was actually apprehended and not shot and killed. So
absolutely. I always say that's a good ending to a story.
Take his brain and find out what's really going on with him.
Well, because a lot of the times, I know that they were discussing a little bit on the news and online on social media, there's been a lot of back and forth about whether it was a terrorist attack and all this crap. But to be completely honest, from the sounds of it sounds like Buddy was taken and deployed out to Iraq, and he spent 8 months out there and came back with apparently a very severe form of PTSD. His entire family.
That's exactly what I saw today.
Yeah, even his family was saying
military, and he just went nuts.
Yeah, even his family had a lot to say about not being able to get along with him, and that he was hearing kind of voices and just bizarre things that would be abnormal to anybody, especially before a big occurrence like the shooting happened. I mean, there was a lot of small clues, and one of the biggest things I can say that is, if you know somebody who's suffering like that and could potentially be a threat to the public, or is hearing voices or something like that, I think one of the biggest lessons for this was that maybe people should act a little bit ahead of time. instead of waiting until, not that anybody knew that was going to happen, but it's a good indicator now to show people that, there are some pretty valid clues that might go hand in hand before a big occurrence like that happens.
Be proactive.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If you come across that, like, if that person's not going to seek help themselves, do it for them.
Yeah, and some of those people that need help, they don't exactly reach out at all, right? They don't think they need help.
They don't realize that themselves they need help.
Yeah, exactly. From a person who is sane, and a sane standpoint, where you're kind of observing this, absurd behavior that's kind of abnormal from regular, performance and human reaction and stuff like that. To be honest, I think that, there were some pretty big cues that probably could have been nipped in the butt a little bit beforehand. But, like we say, people don't always realize that things are going to spiral out of control like that. But look, even the shooting that happened in that movie theater, I'm pretty sure that guy was pretty psychologically not quite there either beforehand for quite some time.
The light was on, but no one was home.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trauma that goes into that, whether it was a trigger or childhood abuse or, witnessing violence. There's a lot of things that go hand in hand, and I really wish that, governments would do a little bit more for people who are coming back from places like Iraq with those kinds of trauma. I actually have a friend, I won't mention his name, but he's got PTSD, and he's severely suffers from flashbacks and things from being in combat. And you know what, it's a very realistic thing, and they have what's called no-fly lists and stuff like that in the States. I guess they evaluate you under a certain level of sanity, and they kind of
take it from there.
Yeah, and they kind of say, well, if you're in the 80% or higher list for a risk as PTSD mental breakdown, you're not allowed to be in public places like a train or a plane, and that says a lot.
For them to go to discount rent the truck and
Yeah.
Go to a shopping area like that happened in Europe.
Right? Like, you never know where you're going to be, where, things like this, you don't plan in your daily, day planner. You don't get up and say, oh, I'm going to go walk into a shooting today. And that's the scariest part about it for people, I think, is the fact that you could be anywhere, absolutely anywhere, when something like that just breaks out and happened. And, your kids or your family could be the ones that are a part of it. So, I mean...
when in my old neighborhood, Jane and Finch, one day I saw a shooting. It was middle of the day. It was lunchtime.
Yeah, that stuff is real.
It's not like it was a back alley or something.
Well, and like you were saying, Jane and Finch is a rough area, right? I was actually watching a video. I'm not sure if you caught it on my social media or not, but there was a video of a lady in the middle of Jane and Finch a few days ago that was posted, and she was having a psychotic mental breakdown, and standing on the hood of two police cars.
Police officers,
Yeah, right. So it doesn't mean that the States is the only place to have it, because believe me, Canada's got their fair share of individuals who are insane as well, right? So
it's just not publicized as much.
Right. I find that the States makes a little bit bigger of a deal, because they have those past issues with things like terrorist attacks and stuff like that. I think it's a huge thing for them to make it
in my opinion, I think it's CNN, because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
A lot of things blown out of proportion, which really is not a big deal.
Yeah.
But because they throw it in there, and CNN, it's CNN. Oh, okay, there's ratings, there's money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was like the elections, right? Like, there was one station paid by Trump and one paid by Hillary, and you could see it. Yeah. Right? Hillary was losing quite a bit, and they were saying, oh, she's still in the running, and well, clearly they were saying that to keep the momentum going, to keep people voting, right? So
exactly.
It's all paid.
Since you brought up the election, what was your thought of Trump winning, and what's his effect going to be on the economy?
To be honest, I always say this is a funny subject for me, because I don't dislike Trump as a person or a businessman. I think that he's had his fair share of business deals, and that he's very business inclined, and that to be honest, he doesn't really have anything to gain off of being president. I think he's got and has been through enough, in his life to really have enough money to deal with. I mean, he's claimed bankruptcy a ton of times, but I know that he's still a very wealthy man. Going into presidency was not his big meal ticket per se, and I think that the States. I'm kind of glad that Hillary didn't win, because of the fact that I felt like it was kind of like when Obama went, and not that Obama didn't deserve to win, because you know what, he won twice, he was in presidency, and he did his fair share of helping the states out, I'm sure. But to be honest, I always felt like people were voting for Obama for the wrong reasons, and it was a majority of colored people were voting for him because of his color of his skin, which is a wrong reason to vote for somebody, right? And I felt like
how they were voting for Hillary, because almost going to be the first female president.
Exactly, right? So to me, I felt like voting for her was voting for her for the wrong reasons, and that she really, I felt that because her husband's such